All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's installment of my weekly One Piece chapter reviews. Um, this week was chapter 777. What a magical number. Um, this chapter, oh my god. I feel like I say that every chapter. I'm like, oh my god, this chapter was so good, but it really was. Um, First thing I want to talk about, first and foremost, something that I was like, oh, yes, at, well, not yes, because it's a bad thing. I mean, but it was like so just like, holy shit, that was really badass, is Robin. This, okay. I'm just really excited about it because Robin was so incredibly, wow. Like, who else would have the like sheer willpower to get pelted by those spiked steel balls and just smile afterward? Robin, of course. And I think I've said in my previous reviews like how much I love Robin. And I love Robin a lot. I don't know if any of you guys know this. I have a tattoo on my arm. I don't know if you can read it. It's a One Piece quote. It's written in the font that is from the BioShock games. This is off topic, sorry. It says, "No one's born in this world to be alone," and if you know One Piece, then you know that that is a rough translation of a quote from Robin's backstory. So if that's not like a hint to how much I love Robin, then I don't know what is. And there's been some amazing fan art coming out of like Robin with her like scarred up back. It's so cool. It's so badass. I just can't handle how much I love it. Anyway, I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate her in all her glory. And then moving on to the rest of the chapter, which was mainly about Zorro and Pika. And I said last week in my review that was probably the next fight that was going to happen. And it wasn't that hard to figure out. I think that's just like a natural like sort of assumption. It's like, okay, it's going to go back up. It like Oda went like in order. He went down the rank to the very like sort of like low bottom battles and then went back up. So the next fight after Zorro and Pika is obviously going to be Doflamingo, Bellamy, Treble, and Luffy and Law. Anyway, Pika's being a huge asshole. Zorro gets really, sort of just really pissed off at Pika because of what he is doing. And what he's doing is picking on all the weaker opponents instead of actually fighting someone who is at his caliber, which is Zorro. So that's happening. So Zorro is trying to think on his feet, and I mean, I feel like everyone in the like One Piece fandom kind of like makes fun of Zorro a lot. They're like, "Oh, Zorro's so stupid. He doesn't have a sense of direction," which is not false. But I think, I mean, just seeing the way that Zorro analyzed things this chapter, he's like, okay, all this shit's not gonna work, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do the best option, and I'm really excited because we see the bandana again, and we haven't seen the bandana in a really long time, and that's so thrilling. Zoro's bandana is my favorite. So we see that, and it's exciting. The entire chapter, it wasn't a short chapter, but it still kind of gave off the vibe of being short because not much happened, even though it was a longer chapter than some of the chapters that we've been getting recently. After we saw Krios' final attacks on Diamante, taking him down finally, and I'm kind of curious as to if he actually killed them, because when it comes to Luffy doesn't kill people because I can't remember the exact quote that Oda said that one time, but he was like, Luffy doesn't kill people because he thinks it's like a worse punishment for them to see their dreams crumble or something along those lines. I'm not going to look up the exact quote, but it was something along those lines. I am curious because Krios doesn't adhere to the same moral code as Luffy does. So I think there's a good chance that with that finishing blow, the finishing blow that came to Diamante's head from Scarlet's grave, like literally, in a way, Scarlet ended up defeating Diamante, which I found to be sort of satisfying. It wasn't Scarlet because she's gone. With the blow to his neck, like it hit him right about here, which would be a detrimental blow to anyone normal. But this is One Piece, and people can be shot 3 times and still be fine, somehow. But that blow to the neck, I think it's kind of a universal thing that like necks are fragile. Everyone knows that necks are fragile, and so I'm just really curious as to if Diamante is actually dead, because I wouldn't think that Krios would be the kind of person who would keep him alive. Just defeating him doesn't seem like enough. Not saying that Krios is like a malicious person, because I think he's moved past that point in his life, but I'm still kind of curious as to whether or not he is still alive. And I don't really have anything to actually say about this chapter because it's kind of what I expected it to be, besides Robin getting her back torn to shreds, which was holy shit. Like, wow, that was completely unexpected and really, like, I don't want to say it's awesome because it's not, but it was so cool. Like, Robin, oh God, I love Robin. But yeah, so I'm guessing next week we're going to see, the end of this battle, and that's probably going to take up the whole next chapter, maybe even the next one after that, depending on how the battle is going, because this last battle between Krios and Diamante lasted about like 3 chapters-ish. I don't remember the exact number. We're finishing up this chapter, the majority of it being last chapter, and then the chapter before that. Yeah, so it was about 3 or 4 chapters that battle took place over. So I'm guessing it's going to be the same thing for Zorro and Pika's battle, if not longer, because Pika is a higher ranking executive who has more going for him. Well, not more going for him, but he seems to be one of like the guys that's like, holy shit, this guy's kind of impossible to beat. Just like we kind of like almost all of Zorro's like almost all of their enemies are like, this guy's like impossible to beat. And they do it because they're amazing. But yeah, so I'm really excited to see Doflamingo and Law and Luffy's fight, because I feel like we really haven't seen all of what Luffy's able to do from his training. Like, there's got to be more, what we saw in the Fishman Island arc can't have been it. And obviously, I think Oda made that the next fight after because he didn't want to give us all of what Luffy could do all in one sitting. And the Fishman Island is the perfect place to do that because of its restrictions, because it's underwater, because he can't fight to the best of his abilities. I think that's why Oda had the next fight after the time skip be there. Or like the next major fight. You know what I'm saying. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about this chapter. Hopefully once things start picking up again, because like this was like the settling down. Obviously there's still a lot happening, but it's kind of settling down again. Hopefully I will have more to share with you guys, because yeah. So you can leave any comments you have in the comment section below. You can like, you can subscribe, you can be my best friend if you want. So yeah, I will see you guys next chapter.